Welcome, everyone. It is our pleasure to host you all for this insightful webinar hosted by Novigo on Symbl, UiPath, and their potential for the contact center industry. We are thrilled for this webinar as it is bringing the best of the minds of Novigo, Symbl, and UiPath. This webinar is being conducted by Novigo Solutions in collaboration with leading hyper-automation platform UiPath and analytics technology Symbl. Novigo is an end-to-end analytics, IT services, and RPA solutions provider. Founded in 2012, Novigo is UiPath's diamond partner and also the UiPath certified professional services provider, the first one in the MENA region and the only one in India today. We are currently supporting more than 50 clients in the RPA universe in their RPA journeys and roadmap. Symbl is democratizing conversational technology to make collaboration effortless at scale. Amazon Venture and Techstars 19 backed, it has created a new category of conversational tech infrastructure, contextual voice and text analytics applied to human conversations, such as those found in the typical sales, meeting, support, education, or other business conversation. It mainly helps developers and businesses in deploying and scaling conversational intelligence at a scale without involving constant trainings, wake words, or creating custom classifiers. Their comprehensive suite of APIs unlocks proprietary machine learning algorithms, activates conversations to identify actionable insights across domains and channels in real time. UiPath is a leading software company that intuitively develops processes for robotic process automation. While it started small, today it is the best RPA software offering company in the world. It is the world's first platform that is making hyper automation feasible. CNBC Disruptor 50 has recognized it as one of the three leading B2B software company. Along with a Series E investment round, it is also the only RPA provider named for Forbes AI 50 in 2020. On the panel today, we have Mohammed Jarod and Linton Pereira from Novigo Solutions, Ankit Gupta from UiPath, and Vikram Modgil from Symbl. Jarud is the co-founder and chief operations officer at Novigo Solutions. He is responsible for initiating and setting up the Data Labs Center of Excellence at Novigo. Currently, this unit has more than 30 data scientists. Our RPA Center of Excellence has more than 100 certified UiPath professionals. Cumulatively, these units have logged more than 150,000 consulting hours, over 250 plus engagements for more than 50 clients. Linton Samuel Pereira is the lead business analyst for Data Labs and comes with more than 11 years experience spanning companies like Virtusa, Tech Mahindra, and Cognizant. Ankit Gupta is a senior consultant intelligent automation with UiPath with more than 10 years of experience in information technology, including consulting in areas of intelligent automation. Vikram Modgil is the head of growth for Symbl. He has more than 15 years of experience to his name and has been deeply involved in the areas of analytics and artificial intelligence. So some of the topics that we will be covering in our webinar today are here on your screen. A recorded version of this webinar will be made available and mailed to you. At any point, please feel free to drop questions for our panelists on the questions tab in your Zoom webinar. Over to Jarud to introduce the webinar.
Yeah, thank you, Ramzi. First of all, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for taking time from your busy schedule for this webinar. Now, just to set the background, as we all know, we are facing the COVID-19, one of the biggest pandemic ever. And because of this, almost all the sectors have been impacted. The depth of impact for each one of us may be at different levels. However, one thing that is common for everyone is profit margins are on the downtrend. Now, as the businesses are passing through really challenging times, on the other hand, technology has been evolving at much faster rate than ever. And one such technology is intelligent automation as well as AI and ML. And these techs can help organizations to not only to sustain, but also to scale their business. So with this in the background, so we are seeing nowadays, because of the COVID situation, the companies are really serious about investing on these technologies, not only to streamline their processes, but to consolidate their technology stacks, as well as to reduce the operating costs. However, most companies are stuck in the process of identifying where should I begin this transformation? How do I go about it? And unfortunately, they struggle to get even proper guidance from the experts. Growing, companies are not able to catch up with it. So the speed at which AI and ML technologies are growing in last 1 year, industries can now start harnessing these powers to solve many unsolved problems which was not possible earlier. So that's where companies like us come into picture, who can stitch these multiple powerful solutions provided by Symbl and UiPath and give a value add back to the customers. So these solutions not only help in achieving business goals, but through supervised and unsupervised algorithms, they can streamline a lot of things for the companies. So let me, yeah, Nalini, can you, Nalini, can you change the screens? Yeah. So we have listed down some of the top priorities for any contact centers, like customer retention, customer reduction, modernize and automate operations, workforce optimization, then agent training, monitoring, analyzing call quality, provide call insights. So these are the few top priorities for any contact centers. So for example, there is an article on customer retention by Bain and Company, which according to their study, a small increase in customer retention of 5% can increase the profit margin by 25%. Similarly, for the attrition as well, there's a Cron article which states that typical outsourcing centers spends about $8,000 not only in hiring but also on the training. Workforce optimization. Around 76% of contact centers have an issue with budgets and tend to squeeze resources to survive. Scalability is another huge concern, and optimizing workforce continues to be one of the top challenges. Agent training and motivation. According to a report from NICE, the average annual absence rate in contact centers across the globe could be as high as 10%. This results in a poor quality and dropped revenues. So this leads companies to invest a lot in mass training these agents. Technologies like Symbl and UiPath can can help a lot on these trainings. Instead of doing mass training, there can be localized trainings at an individual level. Technologies like Symbl can monitor the patterns, the behavior of an agent, and the quality department or the training department can have focused trainings on those persons. And even technologies, AI/ML can monitor all the call logs of your last one month or last 1 year, whatever the time frame that you need, and it can give you deep insights about these calls. So let's consider a particular scenario or a customer journey in a contact center. So as we all know, these days there can be two customer journeys. One where the customer query can land to a chatbot. So that's one of the customer journeys. The second journey is chatbots will not be able to answer everything. So the call still lands to the live agent, right? Now, how do I use technologies to improve the quality or the service provided to your customer for the calls that still lands to a live agent? So some of the problems here are, as stated, service agents taking longer time to report. Maybe service agent is not trained enough, or he doesn't know to give the proper information, or how do I know that he has not done any mistakes? So there are many, and even because of the fragmented systems at backend, customer agent will not be able to get all the information at one shot. So there are many problems in these two journeys. Yeah. Moving on to the next slide. So with this background in mind, uh, the power of Symbl as well as UiPath can solve many of these problems in this age. So moving on to the next part, which Linton will walk over these solutions that can solve these problems. Linton, to you.
Thank you, Jarud. Yeah. Yeah. Adapting new technology isn't just helping your bottom line and cutting attrition cost. These ensure customer issues are resolved faster with reduced effort through a consistent, streamlined, and a personalized experience regardless of the channel, and can be proactively offer solution that may prevent future issues. Utilizing the faster emerging technologies like ML, AI, and RPA, contact center can do deep analysis on their calls and conversation data. This will help them to identify the key areas that needs more attention and thus move ahead in the direction that helps them to improvise the same. Yeah. For example, let's consider the contact center for a product company or an insurance company. Contact center will will be having huge number of calls from their customers to understand the product or policy better. So every conversation that happens between the customer and customer service agent is being recorded and maintained. This recorded data can be analyzed to understand the customer pain point, to monitor the performance of the service agent, and to act based on insight recovered from their deep analysis. This analysis will not just limit to recorded calls, it can be extended to live calls as well. Having intelligent solution doesn't just benefit your customer or your employees, but by automating processes across the contact center technology stack with intelligent analytics can help support a better omni-channel experience for your customer with smoother self-service option that reduces customer frustration, ultimately reducing the number of calls to your center. Yeah, I'll go to the next slide. Yeah. Yeah. Personalization, providing a portal where the calls and conversation data can be uploaded and analyzed, along with providing necessary automation. Next best action, to identify the action item and important follow-up details and perform or automate repetitive tasks. Training and agility, identifying the key improvement areas for the customer service agent and training them accordingly. Omni-channel, automating transaction across the served and self-serve channels and harmonizing interaction between 10 to 15 plus channels. On-screen navigation, removing deficiency of legacy platforms and multiple data sources, causing proliferation of computer interfaces for agents. Customer efforts, simplifying customer interaction with a quicker handling time and understanding customer requirements. Yeah. Integration with back office, front to back office automation driving enterprises wide efficiency and reducing delays and backlogs. Attrition, more empowered employees with reduced mundane tasks ensures a higher rate of employee satisfaction and reduced attrition. Compliances, using robotics to deliver 100% accuracy, reducing error rate and compliance costs. Upsell and cross-sell, using accelerated data feeds to push offer management and customer relevant products opportunities. Yeah. The combined use of ML, AI, and RPA helps to address more than just the average handling time. It helps identify the customer pain points, trends across all the calls, identifying compliance violation, provide improvement areas for the service agents, as well as automate the most common and repetitive tasks. Yeah. Earlier on, we have seen a typical process flow for a customer and an agent without the right tool. While from the customer perspective, nothing visually changes. On the back end, intelligent robots are working to ensure the agent gives a speedy resolution or a sales Instead of maintaining a list of action items that needs to be done for a client post calls, robots can join the live call, monitor it, and capture the required information. Conversational analytics can identify action points from verbal conversation in a real time, which can be used as a trigger point for a robot to carry out the instruction. Post calls, robots are already updating multiple systems on its own, while agents are ready prepping to delight the next customer. Just to summarize how we have resolved using these technologies, we have a well-trained customer service agent, automation of repetitive or back office processes, improved customer service, and resolve issues faster. So let us go over the demo now, where we will be talking about the commonly identified use case.
Hi everyone, I'll be walking you through this demo today about how we have integrated machine learning and RPA together to resolve some of the use cases in the contact center space. So let me start by giving you a brief about what we have built. So what you can see right now is a small portal that we have built considering the contact center companies in mind. We will be providing them with an option for using whatever data that they have. So the contact centers normally have huge amount of data, be it recorded calls, be it text transcripts of those calls, or even the live connection calls. So we want to help the call center companies to manage their data, to analyze their data, and come up with great insights that will in future help them to address their customer satisfaction problems, as well as in improving their customer service agents' performances. So let me start by logging into our portal. As you can see, we have provided with 4 options. One is to upload the audio call recordings. Second one is to upload the text transcripts. Third one is to point to a different location where the conversations are being stored. And the last one is a live connection call. So what we are doing over here is we are utilizing the Symbl.ai APIs for collecting the information during this call conversation, be it pre-recorded calls or be it live connection calls. So using these APIs, we are able to get a good amount of information. Then we use some machine learning models and perform analysis on them to get insights from them. So for this demo, we'll be focusing on the join meeting option, where I'll be entering the meeting ID, numeric passcode, and the email ID. So for this demo purpose, I have considered the Zoom meeting information. So my Zoom call details are ready. I will be inputting all these details over here, along with the numeric passcode and the email ID. So the email ID context over here is that when the actual live connection call has ended, the entire summary, including the insights and the transcript, will be sent to my email ID, to this email ID. And when I press join now, one agent, automated agent, will be joining the Zoom call as well using these details. So that agent will be doing the actual data capture as well as analysis part. So once I perform this join now operation, we can see it live as well, that how a third agent gets joined to the call. So using that, considering we are in the customer call center space, we have considered 2 very simple use cases and simple but common use cases in the contact center space. First one will be addressing the ticket management system. So we have considered to raise an IT ticket in Jira software as our first use case. And the second use case that we have targeted is to create a calendar invite for a follow-up with one of the clients. So I have prepared a small script for this demo, and I'll be walking through that script during the Zoom call. So once that Zoom call is ended, we will verify what all information was captured and how the RPA process got triggered based on the summary that we have displayed. So I'll just start the Zoom call. Let's give it a couple of seconds. So you can see that I am the only participant in this call right now. And when I press join now from here, one more, the automated agent will get joined to this call. Right, so you can see that the agent wants to get admitted to this Zoom call. And on our portal, you can see that we have a end call button here, and we do have a transcript on the right side. So here we'll be displaying everything, all the transcript that is there from the call that is happening live. So I'll just admit this agent to our call, and then I will start with my script. Hi all, today we are having a discussion about the future of machine learning and RPA together in the contact center. Let us talk about some use cases. Let us consider the IT ticket management system. I will need to raise an IT ticket in Jira for software update issue. Let's consider another use case. Let's have a follow-up call with Corporation Bank on 10th November at 10 a.m. Thank you. So that's when I have ended my call. So we have the insights page where we can see the summary, and under action items you can see certain items. Below in the taskbar you can see that UiPath has been initiated. It even scrolled down the window, and it will be performing the operations based on the action items. So we have targeted two action items here. First one is the IT tickets in Jira, and the second one is the calendar invite. So yeah, now the UiPath process has completed. Now let's just check if a corporation, yeah. So we can see that a call with Corporation Bank, calendar invite was set for 10 November at 10 a.m. Apart from that, there was one more follow-up that one more action item that we had, which was related to the RPA, which was related to the Jira ticket. Let's just refresh this and check if a IT ticket was raised. We can see that IT ticket is raised with the description as system update issue. So this is how we plan to utilize RPA plus machine learning in resolving some of the most common use cases in the contact space industry. Moving on to the RPA part. So what we have used is we have triggered our automation using the orchestrator APIs. So this is our cloud orchestrator, and this is where I have connected my local machine. This is the tenant where I have added my machine. This is my machine, and the corresponding robot that I have placed for my machine is this. And the kind of workflow or the task that we programmed that should be running on my machine come under this package, and this package was uploaded through the UiPath Studio onto the orchestrator. So that's about the RPA process and workflow. Thank you all for being so patient for the entire demo. Thank you.
Thank you, team, for that. So right now, I would like to call on Vikram Motkil, who will be walking us through the technology, conversational analytics by Symbol. So over to you, Vikram.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Already, I think team has covered a high-level introduction of Symbol's contextual conversation intelligence platform. So I will just walk through some few of the slides and just give you a little bit deeper insight into the platform itself and some of the benefits in the contact center and some examples. We have a few screenshots of some dummy data that I will be walking everybody through. Let's move to the first slide. So we are a contextual conversation intelligence platform to analyze real-time as well as recorded conversations without any upfront training. The biggest issue in contact centers has been always to understand context, and all the investments in IVRs before any AI systems were really built. That was a telephony approach that was used to solve and build context, right? Is this call about a password reset or is it about something else? And then with chatbots, the problem became just for a new channel. So people started using text channel, but still the context was built over many, many questions that the customers need to answer, because chatbots don't have a context awareness. And then finally, with voice assistants, the voice replaced text, but the problem of context still remains. It's still, Siri wouldn't understand what exactly mean. And voice assistants also have the same problem of context understanding. We built our platform based on the approach to really focus on understanding context in a conversation, and all these capabilities that you see on the right hand side. So getting speech to text, analyzing the contextual topics of a conversation. These were all based on understanding and developing an understanding of the context of a conversation. So this is a big, big industry and not a very easy problem to solve. And we wanted to give developers an ability to easily use some REST API calls and get the able to have context understanding of a conversation. So that's basically the premise of the foundational difference between Symbl and any other conversation analytics space. Our approach has been always to understand the context. Now, there are several use cases, and obviously based on different problems that Jarud covered at a high level. So in this next few slides, I will cover a few of those. But customer experience was one of the issues that I saw in Jarud's previous slide, reduction of cost and training. So I'll try to cover some of these aspects in the next few slides. But just to sort of give a headline around these three aspects. So customer experience is all about understanding the sentiments, the intents of customer, and paying attention to what customer is actually saying rather than focusing on activities and actions and tasks. This is exactly where UiPath involvement becomes very interesting, because Symbl has the ability to understand the context, but Symbl cannot execute activities. Those are the activities which RPA can easily execute. So there is a really interesting partnership in that sense that Novigo has created in terms of these platforms talking to each other. There's a story around 2016. Mark Zuckerberg wanted to automate his home and create a Jarvis. I think he succeeded in doing a few things, but they were mostly, they were not language-based. They were camera-based, and if somebody was at the door, it'll automatically ring the doorbell or some basic activities like that. And he did succeed in that, but we can do a lot more now today, because with Symbl, the ability of understanding the context is now available to developers. So let's move on to the next slide and just go over a few of the scenarios. So overall, as I mentioned, Ankita, can you move on to the next slide, please? Yeah. So overall, as I mentioned earlier, so we support multiple channels. So essentially, a contact center, which is an omni-channel scenario where customers want to converse in a channel which is their preferred channel. Sometimes they want to text, sometimes they want to chat, or get on a video calls, which is, we're seeing something very common these days, and traditional audio conversations. So there are multiple paths that customers want to take, and Symbl has ability to interact with any and across channels as well, in terms of customer conversations. And on the other side, tools like Jira, Zendesk, automation tools, next best action tools, next best offer systems, predictive engines, custom codes, they have ability to integrate with simple REST API calls from Symbl to process the downstream actions. Essentially, what this allows the agents to do is focus on the conversation rather than activities. And all of those downstream activities are taken care. The automatic transcription allows them to not worry about typing. The contextual topics give them an ability to do call disposition pretty straightforward and easily, and reduce that overall handling time that impacts the cost. But besides all that, we also thought it would be interesting to also analyze conversations by taking a deeper look at how the conversations are happening, the crosstalk, overtalk, which could be used for training purposes and coaching purposes as well. So those are some of the examples. And now in the next few slides, we'll just go over how we are able to build an entire customer's profile for a made-up example. And this is not real. We just wanted to show just with some dummy data an example. So if we can go to the next slide. Here, if you pay attention to the right-hand side where you see all this code, this is where we are extracting an entity called location, which is mentioned by the customer. This customer actually isn't able to note down any customer information because they are a prepaid provider. Prepaid provider in the US don't have mandate to note down address or any other personal information. But if the company is interested in understanding where the customer lives, just in general, to offer them the right kind of incentive which are available in their area. So things like that are automatically detected from a conversation using a SIM card number or any ID or a phone number. Those conversations are stitched together, and these different entities and conversation and insights are happening over time, over many, many conversations. And Symbl has this ability to stitch all these in an entire context of customers, either transactional conversations or profile related or personal information. So we are able to extract all of those informations and questions the actions that the rep took, any top last reasons for call. Those are some of the examples that we have portrayed here, but there's many more possibilities. So this is just an example of how a customer's profile can be created by just analyzing the conversations. Let's go to the next slide. So here it is an example of sentiments and how these sentiments change over time. So this is a 2-month dummy data, which shows how overall customer sentiments. These are, by the way, let me take a step back. These are high-level topics of all calls received for a particular month, and a couple of days in June and a couple of days data in July. And most of the calls in these months were around these different topics. These calls, so many calls around number porting, balance inquiries, connection, and data hotspot and payments. And we see that these red, green, and yellow, they represent the sentiment, and the color change over month indicates whether the sentiment is becoming from red, which is negative, to yellow, which would be neutral, and green is positive. So how the sentiment is changing over 2 months for those specific topics and overall across the organization. So this can give a bird's eye view of all the conversations that are happening. We can move on to the next slide. And here, this is an example of an agent's experience, how an agent would experience Symbl if it was integrated in such a manner. So if we pay attention to the extreme right-hand side, there is the live transcription. So the agent does not need to worry about any kind of typing, and they can anytime take a look at full transcript of that conversation. The topics on the top right corner in the ongoing call, they indicate what is the discussion about currently. And then in the center, the top part, the first part talks about intent, which is connected with the intent detection engine from Symbl. These intents could be helpful in triggering certain downstream workflows with UiPath. There are questions that are detected. So in this case, the example question is around validity of the data, and it can be used to trigger a query on their account. And then last part, there is a activating hotspot question, which requires a knowledge base article connection so that these activities can be performed by UiPath or any RPA system. So those are some of the examples at a high level. And on the left-hand side, it is the profile information and past activities. So agents can intelligently talk about what is relevant to the customer along with the real-time context that is being built by Symbl in that actual call. So these were a few examples of a sample dummy data that we created. But many customers have started to realize, at least in initial stages of their development, that Jarvis for contact center agents is possible. It is possible, especially thanks to the innovation by RPA technologies like UiPath. And next best action and next best offer and AI capabilities that they're adding additionally will take it even further. Let's move to the next slide. I think this just summarizes all of the things that we've just talked about so far. So benefits in adding such a technology in a contact center scenario could help reduce average handling time of overall resolving issues faster because we're focusing on conversations and understanding. Of course, when agents are very focused, that helps improve customer experience, and the rock stars, the agents who perform well, can help others to learn how they're tackling issues, and that could be used for coaching purposes, as well as summarization of calls at the end of the conversation is much easier and simpler for agents because a lot of the text is already prepared for them. There is a topic hierarchy that we use, which creates list of conversation topics that happened during the previous call. And then all of this is enabled by the automation. That's the underlying theme. And lastly, let's go to the next slide. I'd leave with this one quick video. If you have your cameras, or you can take a screenshot of this. There should be, is that not here? All right. I think that slide isn't there. So those are all the aspects of Symbl that I could share in the given limited time. But please get in touch with the Navigo team to reach out to us for any questions we can answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Vikram. That was pretty exciting stuff. We will be sending a recorded version of the webinar to all the participants. Earlier on, while we were presenting a demo, it looks like the final bits got cut off, so you will be able to see the entire video in the on-demand version. Also, a quick reminder that you can drop in your questions for the panelists below. Ankit Gupta will now walk us through UiPath's technology and how it is poised to serve the contact center industry better. Over to you, Ankit.
Team, can you hear me now?
Yes, Ankit, we can hear you now.
Okay, I'm sorry, I was facing some challenge here. Okay, to start with, right? So I think Jarud mentioned about the challenges of contact center operations. In the previous slides, that includes modernization of operations, integrations between applications, especially the legacy ones without APIs, agents toggling between multiple applications during customer call, leading to customer dissatisfaction. Backend systems inside the contact center, and the operations, the backend operations are basically disjointed from all the front office operations, including agents. Customer dissatisfaction, on the self-serve channel side because of not able to do the end-to-end fulfillment of the customers. So UiPath actually comes with the value of your value with the help of which it can actually extend your existing contact center stack by connecting work and data flows across the tools you use today through RPA. Right, so it basically connects your front to back office operations and help in driving it through robots. We also provide out of the box integrations with multiple self-serve channels like IVRs, emails, chatbots, etc. And we have a very open and flexible architecture to integrate with the existing self-serve channels as well, so that you are not required to purchase a new self-serve channels in order to do end-to-end fulfillment, right? And we have also come up with our capability of preparing or coming up with customizable agent console for the agents to give more personalized experience to the customers. So can you move to the next slide? I'm not able to do it from my end. Okay. Okay, so as you can see in this slide, how different systems across different stakeholders, customers, agents, and back office operations can be easily connected with each other with the help of RPA for end-to-end fulfillment of requests from the customers or automation of any operations through robots. Right, so you can see all the back office operations can be automated, and then it can be connected with the self-serve channels, and it can also be connected with the agent, wherein we can provide an agent with the unified view of all the customer transactions or the history what the customer has done, the interactions in the contact center operations, right? So when we talk about so let me, I think the slides are not moving. Nalini, can you please forward the slide? Thank you. Okay, so when we talk about UiPath capability, so we generally come up with four pillars. The first pillar is about empowering the customers to self-serve. So most of the companies, Jarod also mentioned that they have moved to chatbot customer support, but the chatbot alone has not proved very powerful to fulfill, customer issues end to end, right? So, but when the chatbot integrates with RPA, it can actually interact with backend applications and help contact center in resolving many issues without reaching out to the agents. So we have some native integrations with multiple chatbots available in the market. One being Druid chatbot, which is very easy and quick to build, quick to deploy, comes with out of the box integration with UiPath to do end-to-end fulfillment of the customer request. We have also integrated with other chatbots like Google Dialogflow, Microsoft Bot Framework, Humly, etc. So when we talk about IVRs, because IVR is also one of the medium of self-serve channel, most of the contact center use Genesis, Amazon Connect, or Avaya as their IVR solutions, right? And we have integrated with these IVRs for end-to-end fulfillment of the customers. So I will be showcasing a couple of demos in order to demonstrate how these channel can become powerful after integrating with RPA. Now, next pillar is around UiPath apps. UiPath apps is a platform we have created in order to provide a single unified view to the agents to give more personalized experience to the customers. So basically what happens is this console brings in all the required information from different applications in one unified view. The agents are not required to then toggle between multiple applications while they are talking to the customers, and thus it gives more engaging experience and quicker resolution to the customer age, leading to customer satisfaction. So along with this, we also provide an AI component, which is known as AI Fabric, which can actually help the agent in giving next best recommendations, depending on the customer behavior in the past, the customer spend patterns, etc. And then the agent can give better services or products to the customer based on the requirement, right? And then we have the third pillar, which is again very important. It talks about connecting all the front to back office applications and operations through RPA. So we have ready to use solutions built for Salesforce, built for ServiceNow, Jira, etc. And we have the flexible architecture to integrate with any third party applications you have in your customer contact center, right? And then fourth pillar is again very important because it talks about rapid results, because every customers are looking for modernizations and they want rapid results. And that's the reason we have the component which is very user friendly, which is quick to build, quick to deploy solutions for contact center transformation, right? So let's quickly have a look at some of the demos that supports our capability that we have built under contact center. So first demo is around integration with Druid platform. how Druid can become so powerful that it can help the customers in end-to-end fulfillment of the request.
Today, we're going to show you how the combination of the UiPath RPA platform and Druid AI-driven no-code chatbots can transform customer service. We'll use the scenario of an insurance company handling incoming customer inquiries with the help of a digital assistant called Christy. Christy can work on multiple channels such as WhatsApp, Facebook, or on a website. Christy is set up to have a guided conversation. I can choose readily available topics or enter a free-form query. Let's choose
I guess the video stopped in between. Nalini, can you please have a look?
Is coronavirus covered in my travel insurance? In the chat window, I'll receive a pre-configured response. Alternatively, I can type the question in one of the 30+ supported languages and Christy will understand the intent and will respond accordingly. Once I proceed to make a claim, Christy will ask me a few questions to validate that I'm eligible. Upon receiving my responses, Christy confirms that I may be eligible. If I decide to go ahead and make a claim, I'll be asked to enter personal details such as my first and last name and date of birth to authenticate. At this point, a request is triggered in UiPath Orchestrator to verify my details. A UiPath robot checks my name and date of birth against the customer database. Then, a 4-digit code is sent to my registered email address to authenticate me. We could have also used an SMS text authentication code. Once I enter the code I've received, I am authenticated and presented with the different available policy options. After selecting the policy, I'm asked to enter my details such as the amount and description of the claim. In my case, the reason was the cancellation of my flight. Now I'm required to substantiate the claim with the right documents, in this case my plane ticket. Once I upload my ticket, it must be verified. The Druid chatbot triggers a UiPath robot for verification. The robot uses document understanding to validate the name on the air ticket and the travel date. It also checks if the amount requested is less than or equal to the total fare. A claims folder is created to store the information for future use. Risk and fraud checks are run to assess criteria such as claims frequency. An AI or machine learning model could be used for more sophisticated risk assessment. The verification is complete, and my claim has been processed in just a few seconds. The chatbot now presents me the confirmation of the claim's payout, and I receive an email confirmation. My customer service need was fulfilled in only a few minutes with the combination of a Druid chatbot and a UiPath robot, all without any human intervention. There are a few other aspects of the solution. Behind the scenes, we can see the process that was deployed in UiPath Orchestrator and can also check the speed of execution. It also supports handoffs, so if for some reason my claim could not be resolved automatically and I wanted to chat with an agent, I simply ask Christy and the chat gets transferred seamlessly. Here, the agent can see on her dashboard that one client is waiting for support. Regardless of which social channel my request is coming from, such as WhatsApp or Facebook, they are all funneled into the same view on the agent dashboard. When she's ready, the agent can easily connect with and send messages to me. I'm able to have a conversation with the agent and get my claim resolved in real time. In this demo, we saw the power of the UiPath RPA platform and AI-based no-code Druid chatbots. Bringing automation and chatbots together can provide your customers with better service on the channel of their choice. Get started with your chatbot today.
Yeah, so you saw, can we move to the next slide, please? Yeah. So you saw in the previous, just a minute. So you saw in the previous demo how the chatbot became very powerful after integrating with RPA, and the robot interacted with our document understanding platform to extract the data out of the ticket and get the required information, right? Which was not possible without the agent before. Now it's possible with the help of RPA getting integrated with chatbot. So now next demo is around the IVR solution, how IVR becomes powerful when it gets integrated with RPA. Let's have a quick look. Uh,
Today, we're going to show you how the combination of the UiPath RPA platform and Druid AI.
Sorry about that. I think there is some problem in transitioning. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Justin Marks from UiPath, and I'm going to show a quick demo of outbound calling using UiPath automation and Amazon Connect. So here we have a list of applicants that have applied to be on unemployment, and we're missing their social security numbers. We've pulled this from a back end. And what we're going to do is we have an attended automation that's going to process this list, and for each person that it finds in this data set, it's going to set out a call using Amazon Connect. That call will be routed to an Amazon Connect contact flow, and that contact flow will prompt the user to provide their social security number, and then it'll send another automation off to update the social security number inside of that Excel spreadsheet. So I'm going to close that up real quickly, and we are going to run this automation. And you'll see a little quick pop-up, which is us having Amazon Connect make the call, and you'll hear the phone ring in a second. Hello.
Hello, Justin Marks. This is a call from New York State. Please provide last four of your social security number followed by the pound key. Thank you. We are processing the information and we'll call you back later. Goodbye.
So now that the call is completed, another automation will kick off automatically. This is going to be an unattended automation. It's going to open the spreadsheet and update the number. And because it works so quickly, let me open up and you can see the 1234 that I input on the phone has been updated. Now we're just using Excel as an example here, but this could be any back-end system or web service of any kind. That's the beauty of UiPath automation. Thank you.
So let's quickly have a look at the next demo, which is around UiPath apps. So UiPath apps provides a single unified view to the agent. An agent are not required to toggle between multiple applications.
Console. Through integrations with IVR systems, the agent receives notification of an incoming customer call. They look at the details and accept the call. You'll notice a couple of things happen. First, I'm presented with some customer information for verification that was pulled up by my attended bot when the call arrived. Secondly, these processes here on the right are running, and you'll start seeing, as I mark these tasks as complete, you'll start seeing my dashboard populating with data. By the time the agent verifies the customer's identity, the background processes are done populating data in the console. Data often comes from multiple systems, including the CRM system, financial systems, and much more. It would take agents minutes to consolidate this information. Through this app, we can also surface relevant automations and actions such as payment cancellation and more, so the agents don't have to navigate multiple systems. And then finally, they can capture notes or other information with the push of a button, publish it to any backend system without ever having to leave our app. This gives you an idea of the type.
So you could see how agents will be becoming powerful with the help of this single unified view, because they don't have to toggle between multiple applications. They will be having all the information at place, and they can talk to the customer in these time rather than toggling between multiple applications, right? So this is how UiPath apps helps the agents. So let me move to the next slide. Yeah, when we talk about our UiPath hyper automation space, so we basically provide the components to digitally transform the contact center operations right from discovery phase, wherein you might have to identify the processes which you can automate, right? So we have components like automation hub for crowdsourcing of ideas from people in the organization to automate the operations, and then we have task mining and process mining, which can actually help you in identify, streamline, and automate that process, right? Then once you have identified the processes for automation or transformation in plan phase, then you have build phase, wherein we have UiPath Studio, which is actually utilized to build complex automation, and we also have UiPath Studio X, which are meant for business users who are more capable of designing their task for automation, because they are most close to those tasks on a day-to-day basis, right? And we have our own document understanding platform to do the document processing. So once the automations are built, automations are being managed by our orchestrator, which is a web-based tool. It is present on cloud, on premise as well. and we also provide orchestrator as a service. So it basically manages all the robots running in the contact center operations, right? And then when we talk about robots for running the operations, we have two different type of robots: attended robot to take care of the front office operations, and the unattended robot which take care of the back office operations. And then we have the components to engage human in the robotic operations. Maybe the field people can get involved, the person who is supporting at the store can get involved, the agents can get involved, the supervisor of the agents can get involved, and that is where we have the component to engage, which is known as action center for supervisors and field people, and we have apps for the agents. And then last, we have the measure phase, which provides a tool which is known as insights, to measure the benefits of running automation or transformation aligned with the organization goals and KPIs, right? So these are the different components which UiPath has. So I had an example or a use case which actually talks about end-to-end journey, but in the interest of time I would like to probably merge it and come up with a quick use case here. So here, if you talk about this is a customer whose name is Tom. Tom basically interacts with a particular brand or service through IVR. Now every organization is into modernization, so now Tom has multiple options or channels that he can use to connect with the brand or the service. The challenge that Tom now has is which channel to utilize in order to interact with uh, the fragmented data sources which the end brand or the service has, right? So these are two disjointed systems, and that's where UiPath comes into picture, because the brand also faces the challenge of integrating these fragmented data sources with the self-serve channel. So here UiPath comes into picture, which provides an option to connect all these fragmented data sources with the self-serve channels uh, through the combination of unattended automation and document understanding to service Storm, right? And now, uh, in this case, if he's having an email conversation or via live chat, with the power of unattended automation, the self-serve channel gets connected with all of the data sources, and the information is given back to the customer. Now, Tom is able to service himself with straight through processing. Uh, just a minute. Yeah. Tom is able to service it himself, so straight through processing, and is able to connect across multiple data sources. And he can do the same from telephony, email, portal, any channel that Tom is using, because every channel is getting connected with the same robot, which is actually integrated with other platforms present at the service end or the brand end, right? Now, but in many cases, Tom may wish to speak to an agent in case of any exceptions. An agent over here can support Tom in a much more compelling way, because now for the first time, either located at home or in office, with the combination of attended automation and UiPath apps, which you saw some time back, we can present the agent with a single unified view containing all of the context and content of Tom journey so far, whatever interactions Tom has done in the past. And the agent is also empowered by AI Fabric. Uh, so just yeah. So agent is empowered by AI Fabric. So using intelligence on the existing data sources of the contact center, the agent can get more insights into Tom's information, maybe around his spend patterns, his potential across other products or services he would have inquired in the past, the next best action the agent should take, or the recommendation the agent should give to the customer. So AI Fabric actually provides all those options and features which can actually help the agent giving more personalized experience or consultative experience to the customer, right? And here, while the agent gives agent suggests the products or services, uh, he might require it might sometimes require authorization, right? And in this case, with the combination of our component, which is known as action center, and attended automation, the supervisor can actually authorize the approval of that additional product or service that the agent is offering to the customer, and therefore update the customer accordingly after the approval. And here, the robots can actually be connected to the field or the branch. So based on their approval as well, the robot can actually pass on information to the customer later at the later stage, not during the call as well, right? And talking about the last component, so it is also very important to understand that how do you continuously improve, or how do you learn and develop further automation opportunities in the contact center space, right? So this is where typical departments are sitting within any contact center environment, like reporting and insights, sentiment analysis, continuous improvement, to actually bring such scenarios. So we have our components which is known as process mining and task mining, with the help of which you can actually identify those processes, and then we have automation hub to document all of those automation and to categorize and prioritize your automation based on the organization goals and benefits, right? And then once the automation is in place, right, to finally learn and understand the automation performance, you can use UiPath insights to measure, the value, to see the ROI based on the automations you have done. And all this can be built in a very simple drag and drop and low code interface using our UiPath Studio and Studio X, which I highlighted some time back, right? So this is the entire end-to-end use case showcasing how the contact center operations can be transformed using different components of UiPath. Over to you, Ramsey. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Ankit, and thank you for all the panelists to be here and all the participants as well for joining in today, so that we could understood how we can transform contact center operations. So we have opened up the question answer session, and we have also answered quite a bit number of questions. In the interest of time, I think we will move ahead. But if anybody has questions, they can definitely reach out to Team Novico or UiPath or Symbl. Next slide, Nalini. So, as part of our Giving Back initiative, we are open to providing 60 minutes of deep analysis of any of your call recordings at no cost. We will also schedule focused one on one consulting sessions with any of the interested participants on the topics that we have discussed today. Please feel free to reach out to any of our reps in your corresponding region. With that, we conclude the webinar. Once again, thank you for your participation, and a recorded version of the webinar will be sent to you on your email IDs. Thank you, everyone.
Any questions? I think I want to clarify one question. I think there was some confusion on that these technology, it's a virtual agent. As I said in the beginning, there are two customer journeys. One customer journey is about chatbots. That's a different customer journey, which you are talking to a virtual agent. The second customer journey is something which the call still lands to a live agent. So Symbl solves the problem for the calls that falls to a live agent. So it's an interaction between two humans where a third virtual agent silently listens to them and processes all the informations, much more deeper than what normally can be done early without Symbl. So hope that clarifies the question. Yeah, Ramzi, I think we can continue.
Yeah, so that brings us to the end. I see that there are no more questions, so we will conclude the webinar. Thank you everyone for being here today.